Hello everyone, I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. We are just going to do a collective winter solstice reading. Today is the winter solstice. I feel silly, I don't think I say that right anyway. It doesn't sound right when I say it. Anyway, this is the time where we are kind of meant to reflect over the past year. And this is a good time to really kind of dig into the shadow aspect of everything, the things that maybe we have been struggling with, the things that maybe we have been avoiding. It's kind of the time of year that, you need to tie up loose ends, close out old cycles, especially if you're wanting to kind of set new intentions for the next year. If you're wanting to experience something different next year, this is a good time to reflect on the things that need to be addressed, need to be changed, need to be released. Because it is the longest night of the year, it's important during this time to really dig into that moon energy, which is your subconscious, which is your fears, your hidden desires, again, the things that maybe you haven't really been putting a lot of focus into. And so that's what we're going to look into with this message. Keep in mind it's going to be a collective message, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Also, something to keep in mind, we are at the last, the very tail end of the Pluto Capricorn transit, which has been going on since 2008, and it's a really important it's a really important energy. It's a really important transit. It's bringing a lot of change and transformation to things that have authority over us, things that have power over us. It's helping us to shift that energy and step into our own power and take responsibility for our lives. The last 2 weeks of this month are very, very important, because this is a time to really make sure that you are moving on the path that you want to be on, that you've taken kind of all the lessons over the past 15 years. Let me just start off by pulling some message cards and see what wants to come up first, and then we'll go deeper. Okay, we have Archangel, is it Jophiel? She's the angel of beautiful thoughts. She's the angel of inner beauty. She's the archangel that kind of helps us follow our joy, follow our bliss. She also helps us to let go of the things that are keeping us from feeling that sense of joy. I kind of feel like the biggest message in this is there's such a desire to receive things and manifest things and have things in our external world. A lot of the focus is like, what are we manifesting? What are we wanting? What are we bringing into our lives? But in order to really receive the things that we want to receive at the level that we want to receive them at, we have to go to the core, you have to start within. You have to kind of find that. We tend to look towards what we're manifesting and looking towards what we're wanting and what we're receiving to make us feel whole. But what we have to understand is that feeling of wholeness has to come first. And that everything that we are manifesting, everything that we are experiencing is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. And so a lot of times without realizing it, we become very comfortable in accepting situations and energies that we don't really want. And we will tell ourselves that, okay, we're just waiting for divine timing, right? We're just waiting for our blessings to come in. We convince ourselves that we are supposed to find happiness in the suffering in order to receive abundance. But we need to completely flip that around, because the abundance comes from the feeling within. Abundance does not come outwardly. Abundance does not come to save us from our suffering. We have to find that within ourselves. And the first thing I think this came up in my daily reading today, the first thing to look at is what things do we hold on to, what ideas, what perceptions, what people, what situations, what experiences are we holding on to because they give us a little bit of comfort or a little bit of predictability in our lives, and in hopes of like waiting for something better to come in. And again, you're not going to be able to find that inner joy and inner happiness and the abundance that you're needing to kind of tap into within yourself. You can't really tap into that if you're holding on to everything that is making you miserable. And so I feel the biggest message for this winter solstice is, where is your joy coming from? Where is your happiness coming from? What are you holding on to, hoping that it will ultimately bring you happiness that is just draining you? Archangel Jophiel does connect to our solar plexus chakra, which is our ego. But ego, not in the sense of like, not in the bad aspect of it. Your ego is your power. It's your motivation. It's in some aspect, it's your masculine energy, right? It's what motivates you. It's what energizes you. It becomes lower vibrational when you rely too much on that energy. It becomes lower vibrational when you connect your power to something outside of you. When you understand that your feeling of passion or purpose towards what it is that you desire free of the negative aspects of the ego, like fear and the need to control and the need to validate, everything you want comes easily. But you have to tap into what your own motives are, what your own intentions are, what your own truth is. It can't come from outside of you, right? Sorry. that was probably a lot. Let me just get a little bit more clarity on what this particular message is. It's like I want to say it all starts within you. There's a need to flip around the way that we are looking to have and obtain the things that we want. There's a need to flip around how we're going about it and understand that everything starts within. And everything that you're sitting in right now is a reflection on how you feel about yourself and what you believe yourself to be worthy of. It's so funny. I felt very guided to do specifically 5 channeled messages yesterday. And I posted them, but I was like, they all seem to kind of center around a very similar message. Like they all seem to be a very similar message, just kind of coming out in different wording or different situations. And I thought, well, what's the point? It's all the same message. This is kind of the same message too. And I feel like it's coming out like this because it's just a very important during this time period that we are embracing the lessons that we've learned and taking control of the change that we're wanting to experience, taking control of the manifestations that we're wanting, the dreams that we're wanting, instead of pushing them away. I saw, there's this guy on TikTok that I follow. His name is Chasing Chiron, Chiron. He's an astrologer. He was talking about specifically this time period right now, this last 2 weeks of the month, because it's the end of the Pluto Capricorn retrograde, and it's also some weird conjunction with Leo in the last degree. And Leo in the last degree is all about spiritual integrity and the need to really move on the path that is in alignment with your highest good. And there's a need to, it's like Capricorn and Leo, to, in any capacity, is a need to really take responsibility for your ego. Like it's really important to follow divine law during this time, and not in the sense of like follow the traditional religious rules, not like that. Like honoring your own truth, honoring your own integrity, honoring the dreams that are true for you, the visions that are true for you, the desires that are true for you. It's really important during this time to honor the truth that you've been working towards, honor the path that you've been working towards, honor the healing that you've been doing. Because it's almost, and I hate to like put it out like that, but if I really would recommend going to this guy's TikTok and looking at, I don't even know, it's probably the most recent one he posted. About following our path and about this winter solstice. Whatever you desire at this point, whatever dream that you have, whatever vision that you have for yourself. Understand that we are moving into a period where these things are easily available to you. But at the same time, you're opening up your energy to receive these things. There's going to be a lot coming at you, and you have to make sure that you're choosing the path that is in pure, utter alignment with what it is that you desire. The snake card is the energy of like that Kundalini awakening. It represents your power. It represents your source of power. It represents your desires, and your passion are a source of power, right? But if you pursue those desires from a space of fear, from a space of shame, from a space of guilt, from a space of lack, you're going to sabotage it. And not that you'll destroy it and never be able to get it. Like anything that's meant for you will come to you, right? You'll just make it more difficult. But the snake to me is always this message to protect your desires, to protect your transformation, to protect your own change in the sense of choosing and continuing to move on the path that is good for you. The lilies and the ship represent the need to let go of everything that is not true for you, to really see and accept the truth of things and free yourself from anything that is not in alignment with your truth. It's not so much important what everybody else is doing. It's not so much important what somebody else thinks of you, what somebody else feels for you, what somebody else's intentions with you are. It's not important if this thing is or is not available to you. And if you continue to look for that validation, you're going to keep going in circles. It doesn't matter what is good for this person, what this person sees in you, what that person feels about you, because anything that anybody else sees in you is based on how they feel about themselves, so it doesn't even matter, right? If you are moving and acting based on other people's perceptions or other people's needs or other people's desires, or with a concern for how other people are going to react if you do something differently, you will always stay in the same cycle. You will always be in that space of restriction. It doesn't matter what is true for somebody else. It doesn't matter what's working for another person or what's not working for another person. It matters what is true for you. And it matters if you are sitting in and acting in and believing in what is true for you. Like, I always think it's amusing to me that people will like meet somebody new, and usually they're in meeting somebody new and talking to somebody new, if that person feels any kind of interest for the other person, usually their first instinct is, what does that person think about me? What does that person feel about me? What is, it, and it, like, the focus completely gets taken away from, what does this mean for you? How do you feel about this person? Right? And so it's like you take away your entire experience when you are worried about how other people are perceiving or feeling about you. And then that in and of itself takes away any chance of authenticity within that relationship, because you no longer are authentic when you are concerned about what another person's perceptions and feelings are about you, because you're acting in that energy based on what you believe they think. You're not showing authenticity. And that's not to say that you're a bad person. You know what I mean? We have it flipped around. We're seeking the abundance to validate our place, but we need to validate our place within ourselves in order to see the abundance, right? Sorry. All right, so let me just do this winter solstice. Oh, winter solstice. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're just going to pull up like 4 cards, right? And this, again, is a collective read. Okay, there has been a lot of focus on receiving love, on receiving support, on getting yourself into the space of nurturing, of having more loving connections, right? The deer is that divine feminine energy. So there has been a lot of focus on healing, on bringing peace into situations, on wanting to be in a space where you're feeling more at peace, where you're feeling more comfort. And so I feel for a lot of you, there has been a lot of focus over the past 6 months to a year on being in a space of receiving abundance, being in a space of receiving love, having a desire to have more peace and contentment in life. A lot of focus on love and the desire for love. There's been a lot of like really positive focus and work that has been done on healing heart center energies, healing your heart, focusing on practicing a lot of self-love, which is really good. And getting yourself just in general to a space of being more open and receptive. And this does indicate that you are in an energy of receiving love. You are in a space of being open to receiving love and receiving the abundance that you have been looking for. But I feel like the buffalo card represents the need to have that perfect balance, right? The need to be able to be grounded in everyday experience, but the need to also have that really deep connection to spirit and have faith at the same time. And so you're not going to extremes, right? It's not depending too much on the outcome that you're seeking in order to feel fulfilled, right? It's not taking anything to the extreme. It's learning that you don't have to constantly be in a space of working tirelessly to achieve a goal, but you also can't be in the space of doing nothing, right? This is the need to have that perfect balance. But I kind of feel like there's a skewed perception on what that balance is. Like this perception that the balance and harmony will come once the goal is accomplished. And I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like the goal is to get your energy into that space of balance. I feel like it's also important to get out of the idea or the perception or the thought that you are in this constant place of healing. And that there's constant work that needs to be done, or even get out of get yourself out of the perception that you need to be constantly working towards something in order to get rewards. The Lamb is asking you to fully surrender to faith, but not in the sense of that you are suffering while you're waiting for your wish fulfillment to come in. But actually sitting in the energy of what it is that you want. Because with the mouse is like too much focus on the details, being too worried about the details, being so easily distracted by everything that's going on around you that you're not paying attention to what your feelings are saying, what your heart center is saying. In reflecting your own truth and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. There's so much attention put on everything that's going on around you that it's keeping you from seeing the truth directly in the way that it needs to be seen. Let me just get a little more clarity on this. Yeah, there's a need to get out of the idea that you are waiting for the divine to come in and bless you with what you need to move on the path that you want to be on. You need to make the choice and follow that choice authentically without fear. You're not waiting for the love to come so you can move on your path. You're not waiting for the love to come so you can feel complete. You are choosing that and acting within that and moving in that energy. What was the message that I got yesterday? It was that to let go of the idea of manifesting abundance, because the desire to have abundance is for the validation that you're on the right path, right? We want to have that like abundance. We want to see those things come towards us, because the core of it is really that we want to be validated that all of our hard work has not been wasted. But the abundant energy is not even something that you need to manifest. The abundance is not something that you need to manifest. It's already there. It's already in you. The love that you're wanting to manifest is not something that you need to be actively seeking to receive in order to feel it. Following your passion, following your true ego, right? Take a moment to kind of reflect on what your sun sign is. Your sun sign is your ego. It's the core of who you are. It's who you believe yourself to be. It's what motivates you, right? So when I say follow the pureness of that ego, like follow that truth of who you are, what you desire, what is important to you. It's understanding that by following that with integrity, that the abundance naturally comes from pursuing that space. And so let go of like all of these little minor things that you are telling yourself are blocking you. Let go of all these things that are distracting you and not serving their purpose. Let go of being worried about how other people are reacting to you, receiving you, perceiving you. Let go of seeking the truth in other people or worried about the truth in other people, and just move in your truth. The abundance comes from that. Yeah. Yeah. You've been stuck in the same cycles. You get yourself to this place of happiness. You get yourself to this place of feeling good. And then you start looking outwardly to see how people are receiving you and to see if people are going to acknowledge you or accept you or whatever. And you keep looking outwardly to validate your own happiness. And that's what is keeping you stuck in the same cycle, is that you're looking outwardly to validate your happiness, or you're attaching your happiness to something outside of you. You already know what is good for you. You already know what is true for you. You already know the desires, the things that you want. And all you have to do is get into alignment with that. And anything that comes to you that is not in alignment with that has to be released to get yourself out of the cycle. And this timing is very important because of the Pluto Capricorn end of the cycle and the connection with that Leo energy, because your guides are rewarding you for following the path of your own integrity, of what is true for your soul's calling. And to let like little things slide during this time, or to get yourself in the space of saying you're waiting for divine timing and continue to accept things that aren't in alignment with your truth, you're just going to attach yourself to cycles, to the same cycles again, that are going to be more difficult to step away from. All right. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas. Bye-bye.